I had told Dr. Wilson that this was a class to remember. I think we also have a graduate. Andy has been very active in, among other things, the theater, and participated in our Habitat for Humanity program. He's decided to attend Lutheran Theological Seminary in the fall in preparation for service in the ministry. I know you join me in welcoming Andy Weaver.
Thank you. With the rain and my instructions for brevity, I have no time for introductions. Everyone here, you know who you are and why you're here and why you're celebrating this day. At least I hope you do. When I found out I would be following the gentleman from Oxford, I was a bit nervous, but with the rain and the technical problems, I'm a little more comfortable now. I also was remarking as I came on the quad with the platform party, I feel intellectually small today, but I guess I'm 22, this is where I'm supposed to be. I don't know what advice they thought a student could come up with for the class with the brilliant remarks of our distinguished speaker, but I'll give it a go. I've heard a few commencement speeches, my own and others, and we often hear about beginnings and endings, we are the future, all of that. Well, it's true, but I believe there's more to it than that. And hopefully there's more to our education than that. We're not just the future, we're the present. We're not just going to the real world, we're living in part of the real world right now. These 4 years in college are just as valid as every other part of our life. It's a long process that we shouldn't be ending, as Dr. Wilson has said. We learn for our entire lives. College is just as real and valuable as the rest of life, so I don't really see anything ending with graduation. I see a continuation of an examination of the things that matter. We're at an age where we're beginning to question our beliefs, religiously, politically, and otherwise. And if we graduate thinking that we've got all the answers, then we're in for a big surprise. As a philosophy major, I'm often asked, what's the meaning of life? Haven't you figured it out yet? You've been here 4 years. I tell them I haven't figured out the answer yet, but I think I've got the right questions. I believe that that's what education's about, forming the right questions. But right now, most of us are worried about the answers. What am I going to do for a living? All the practical things, finding a job right now. After all, isn't that why we came here? To get the degrees, to be marketable and learn skills. Yes, on one level that's true. I'm going to repeat the advice of Professor Herring I got sophomore year. You have to separate job skills and education. They're two different things. Which do you want? Well, I want both. And if the faculty at Lycoming College has done their job, we should have both. We need the skills to do the jobs that we will have to put bread on the table, so to speak. But an education goes beyond that. The liberal arts education is not a myth. It really does work. W.E.B. Du Bois, a great African-American leader of our country, once said, "We shall hardly induce men to believe that if their stomachs are full, it matters little about their brains." An educated person looks beyond the immediate needs of survival and is also concerned with these questions of life. This is why education for its own sake has always been considered quite a luxury since the beginning of civilization. We are fortunate here to have had that opportunity to learn at Lycoming College. And if we appreciate our education as a luxury, it will help us examine our lives throughout their duration. So college is more than a means to an end. We should have more to show for the last 4 years than a piece of paper. If not, we haven't grown. And in 30 years, we should have more to show for our lives than a certain economic level. Life has to be more than a means to an end, because what is the end but death? So if we don't focus on the end, which is death, we focus on the means, which is living. Living is the goal, living the examined life. Hopefully Lycoming College has helped us to ask the right questions to examine that life. A good friend of mine here in the senior class, graduating, has come up with a name for this process. He calls it life's awareness. One exhibits life's awareness by constantly reassessing one's goals, direction, position in life, and beliefs. The answers you come up with aren't as important as the questioning process. Never completing this process is the key to a healthy life. If you have life's awareness, the answers you come up with will take care of themselves. Dr. Penny Austin expressed in Intro to Creative Writing class a few years ago this analysis of writing poetry. A poem is never finished. It is merely taken to the point where you can do no more with it, and it is then abandoned. I wish my life to be like that. Living life with the knowledge of the world that you have until you can do no more. This is the key to satisfaction. Since we are the rock and roll generation, I feel it appropriate to end with a quote from a rock and roll band. From Rush, anything can happen. The point of the journey is not to arrive. Let's live the journey now. And when we arrive, look back at the process and thank God that we could be a part of it. Peace.